So this is simply energy. There's just energy happening. There's nothing making the energy happen. There's nothing in charge of the energy. There's not a higher authority that's making energy happening and directing it. There's just energy. There's just aliveness. There's just what is. This is what is. This is everything. It doesn't need to be the universe or Africa or anything else. This is all there is. This is all there is. It's always like that. Wherever you go, wherever you think or dream that you've been, there's only ever been what is, all there is. So it's energy that's boundless. It's immeasurable. It can't be known. This message can't be known. This message isn't anyone's message. This is not a Tony Parsons message. There's no Tony Parsons. This isn't owned by anyone. It comes straight out of no thing. And it's about the freedom and immeasurability of energy. And the reality that energy can be anything. Energy can appear as anything. It appears here as a room with bodies and chairs and floors and lights. It's just aliveness. There's no one in it. There's an idea that there's someone in it, but there's actually no one in it. It's completely impersonal, without cause, without relationship, without anything that can be understood. But energy can also be anything. It can appear, it is appearing as everything. Energy appears as everything that there is that's imagined. And so it can also appear as an apparent contraction of itself. It can appear as apparently an energy that contracts into a bundle of energy in the human body called separation. So energy can appear suddenly in this body as an energy of separation. And suddenly when that happens, usually at a very early age, a sudden contraction into something called an identity happens. So what arises is what we call self-consciousness. Suddenly there's a self. I'm here. Me is here. Me is suddenly here as a contracted energy, and it grows in the body and becomes the individual, the adult individual, learns how to work it, how to live in the world. And so me is born, I is born, the self is born. But there actually isn't anybody, there isn't an identity, it's simply energy appearing as a contracted sense of identity. And so directly that happens, directly that seems to happen. What happens directly that separation arises is a story begins. Time seems to happen. And the story begins, the story of me. Now is the story of me. And the child grows up into an adult, and that's a story. And that energy is held in this contracted state. And it's separate from everything else. So everything that this me, this identity, this individual, this person experiences seems to be separate to it. Everything is separate. So it doesn't see a tree or the sky or another person as they really are. It sees them as an object that is separate from me. So it's a subject-object reality, and it's artificial. It's not real. It's artificial. It's illusory. It's like a dream. I would like to call it the hypnotic dream of me. But for the me, it seems absolutely real. I know I am a person, and I know I'm in the world, and I know that this is a story of me, and I also am absolutely certain that I can change that story. I can make that story a better story, because I have free will and choice. I have free will and choice. I can do that or that. And I can make my story better. I can. And so in this story, in this me energy in the story, there's now a dream of this person that can make their lives better. And that's how most people live in that dream world. And that dream world is horizontal. It's going round in a circle. Like on a train, or like in those motor cars in fairs where you think you're steering the car around in a circle in the fair. You think you're driving the car around, but actually you're not. It's just being driven around. But you really believe you can do it. You believe you are driving. You're in control. And you go round in this horizontal journey. And this journey can only happen in time. The me only exists in story. Story is me. Me is story. Take one away and the other one collapses. Because they're both the same thing. And so in the story, what's happening to me is experiences. There's an experience of waking up, cleaning teeth, having breakfast, going to work. And it goes round and round. So the whole of the apparent lifetime of the individual, there's a story happening of separate experiences, all happening one after the other. It's on the move. The me is constantly on the move, having this experience, that experience. This is the only way it exists, by continually moving forward. And sometimes life is satisfying and sometimes it's not. That's the way it seems. But there's a sense that you can make it better. But the other thing that is happening that most people would not recognise is this sense of separation is very dissatisfying. It's uncomfortable. Most people live in a sense of subtle discomfort because no one experiences life as it really is. Everyone experiences life as separate from it. Everything is over there, apart, somewhere else. Everything is another object. I'm the subject, that's the object. I'm something, the tree is something. And that brings with it a sense of dissatisfaction. There's something missing. And so people look for what is missing. Some people, not everyone, but some people look for something that's missing through Christianity, Buddhism, or learning about something called enlightenment, because enlightenment sounds like it could be the answer. So I'm going to learn how to become enlightened. This is all about making my story better. Making money is alright, and having lots of lovers is even better. But maybe there's something even better than that, enlightenment. I want to find enlightenment, so I'm going to, because I can learn, I have free will and I have choice. I'm going to choose to become enlightened. But the awful dilemma is that I, the me, is moving around on a wheel, going round on a wheel, moving around horizontally on a wheel. And it's time, it's in time, it's happening, it can only happen in time. But what the actual seeker longs for is the timeless. What that which lives on the horizontal longs for is the vertical. And it can never, ever find that. It never will find that because its whole existence is dependent on its movement forward. And what it's looking for is something that's absolutely beyond it. And so what we're sharing together here is a totally different possibility. We're sharing together something absolutely radical and revolutionary. And yet, this message has always been around, always. If you say that there's the history of seeking, let's say there is, then this message has always been available, but it's only been available to that which is ready to go beyond the self. The self only lives in a self-seeking world, looking for a better story for me. This is beyond the self. This is the end of the self. This is the end. This is the end of the seeker. This is the end of me. You come here to die. But no, that may or may not happen. But it won't be the body that dies. What can die, what can be lost is me. And when me suddenly collapses, this imagined dream of me, which is in an inconstant state that comes and goes, when that suddenly collapses, there's nothing left. It's the end of the story. There is no story. There is no dream. There is no hope. There's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, then suddenly there is everything. When there's nothing left, there is suddenly an in loveness with what is this energy we started talking about at the beginning, or this thing here did, started talking about at the beginning. All that's left is the energy of beingness, is the energy of aliveness, and that's all there is here. You don't have to go and find it somewhere else, because it's here. It's the loudest sound in this room. What you look for has never left you. What you look for has never gone away, because it is this. It is what is. So we can share ideas together, and at a certain level there can be a dropping away of the imagined dream of me, the ideas that surround that. But separation is not just an idea or thought or belief. It's something that's held in the body. It becomes embodied, the sense of being separate. So the most powerful thing that can happen when there's a togetherness in this adventure, what can happen is that energetically the contracted sense of being in a body and being separate in here can suddenly melt into the whole.